Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is Saturday, December 28th, and it is 11:33 p.m. I think this is the latest officially that I've ever recorded. I apologize for being so late. I went out for supper tonight and I got back very late, and then as they were leaving, they said, oh, did you know that there's a 2-day ice storm moving in? So then I had to go out and prepare, get gas in my car and groceries and so forth to last for a couple days. So anyway, looks like I'm going to be iced in, and that, I guess, is good news for you guys, because that means that I'll just be able to stay home and do videos. All right. Well, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look into the Q posts. And I do want to thank a couple people. I'm going to do it now just because there's only two. And one is Anon, and the other is Meredith. Thank you so much. They both contributed via coffee, and I appreciate that very, very much. All right. Now, we're going to go into the Q posts. I missed a few from December 27th because Q posted after I had already uploaded the video. So we're going to go over those, and we're going to get caught up through the 28th, which is today, and we will be caught up with the Q posts. Now, I doubt by the time I finish this, I had intended on doing 2 videos tonight because I do have a lot of news to go over, but I may save that for tomorrow. Doesn't look like I'm going to be going out anywhere or doing anything, so I can just do a couple videos tomorrow, and I'm sure that will make some of you happy. So anyway, let's get into this. We're going to be looking at the first Q post that I missed from the 27th. And that is drop 3756, and it's entitled Something Big is Coming. Now, Q posted this by an Anon, and obviously it's taken from the inside of Marine One after President Trump has departed. Now, obviously, not just anyone has access to Marine One, so this has obviously been taken by either Q or a member of the Trump administration, obviously somebody that's in on Q. This picture has been run through and to see if it had been posted anywhere else on the internet or appeared anywhere else, and it had not. So this is an entirely unique photo, and it's been taken from the inside of Marine One. So you would think that would be proof of something. I would say not just anyone can get a picture like that, and it's a recent picture. And so Q has, or an Anon has posted this, I guess, and underneath Q has said, when will they ask the question? Now, I think this is, I'm not sure why an Anon posted this. Maybe it was used previously in a Q post, I'm not sure, but Q is saying, when will they ask the question? What question is that? I would assume that Q is talking about the question, the big Q, who is Q, and are you Q? Or you would think that the media would ask Trump that, you know, don't you think? Or would at least ask them, what do you think of this Q conspiracy? Because that is what they call it, you would think. But let's read this from Lisa Mae Crowley. She is on Twitter, and a good one to follow. Very good decoder, and posts lots of interesting things. I can't even talk tonight. Yesterday, POTUS tweeted another account with a Q-related hashtag, and Business Insider wrote yet another hit piece. Anon asked when they will ask the question, is the something big a Q-friendly journalist asking, or a huge proof that will leave no doubt? The fake news media has written literally over 1,000 hit pieces calling QAnon a conspiracy theory, yet not one single reporter has the stones to directly ask POTUS about Q. He makes himself available to the press regularly, so why haven't they asked? Well, I think it's because they all know that Q is real. Sure they do. After all, they are the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. They know what's what. Absolutely they do. So they know it. They know Q is real. Or else, why would they put out so many hit pieces on Q? Why would they keep calling it a conspiracy theory? Why would they just not bother with it? So, yeah. Let's move on now to the next one. And this is drop 3757, 3757. I feel like I'm playing bingo here. I don't know why. And this is entitled God Wins. And of course, we know that. I've read the end of the book, and absolutely God wins. And those who believe in him will win as well. So this is by an anon who says God wins, and Q has acknowledged this point. And here, this is by D. Oppresso Liber, another good person to follow on Twitter. They go by the name SunQ2, very good decoder, and they print a lot, or they post a lot of very interesting things. So this person, D. Oppresso Liber, said, confirmation Q team, or Q was on Marine One with real Donald Trump. Q says something big is coming in response to an anon posting. Rudy has been on or around the Q team. Q then posts God wins. And of course, Rudy Giuliani is President Trump's lawyer. So yeah, I would think, he's because an anon posted Rudy has to be on or around the Q team, and Q says God wins. So I don't think Q is overly concerned about the things that we're concerned about, because we see all this that's happening, and yeah, it's pretty alarming. It's infuriating, actually, but Q never seems to get concerned about it. He'll tell us to pray, but I think they already know it's a done deal. So let's go on now, and we come to the next drop, which is 3758. 3758, Biden's and Pelosi's fighting for their life. Now, Biden's being the family, the Biden family, and Pelosi's meaning the Pelosi family, the entire family, because they're all in deep doo-doo. And this Q posts and says, actually, he refers to another one of his posts that's 3591, and it's from the 13th of November, 2019, and it says, follow the family. Q. Now, in this case, and we're not going to go out there because we've looked at this before, but in this case, obviously, he's talking about the Bidens. But both the Bidens and the Pelosi's are in deep, well, caca, for lack of a better word. And here he gives us a link that we're going to go out to in a minute. They are fighting for their lives. Good people in place. Q. So let's go ahead and look at this link that he's left. And here it is. And he says, wow, crazy Nancy, what's going on? This is big stuff. And let's turn up the volume on this so that we can hear what it is he wants us to know. It says right here, OANN exposes those demo rats and their Ukraine ties. Joe and Hunter and Nancy and Paul seems like it's a family affair. What's going on here? Pay attention to 1 minute and 13 seconds in this video, as it has been removed from social media. This has been, I guess they're talking about that little section has been removed from social media. I'm not sure, or perhaps the entire video, but let's take a look.
Fires on the Biden family, the Pelosi's may be the next to come under scrutiny. An old promotional video resurfaced on Thursday, more than 6 years after it was uploaded by an energy company which does business in Ukraine. The video starts out with Nancy Pelosi speaking about her efforts in office to push for clean energy.
Breaking our crippling addiction to oil.
Her message is followed by a promotional statement from her son Paul, who is a board member of Visk Oil and an executive at its related company Energy Lab.
My name's Paul Pelosi. Of course, I'm on the board of Visco Oil. And Visco's here today to talk about accelerating the future. And that's what Visco Oil does. It uses technology to maximize the use of natural resources, like oil and other resources.
Just 2 years after this video was uploaded, Pelosi led a congressional delegation to Ukraine to discuss issues like energy security. And her son traveled to the country as recently as 2017 on behalf of the Corporate Governance Initiative, where he now serves as executive director. While the official reason given for his visit was to discuss a youth soccer partnership program with the Ukrainian government, clips of that trip are now reportedly being removed from online. One of those clips was saved by the American Mirror on Twitter with the caption, "What's really going on here?"
So you have a corporate governance business, and you're here in Ukraine speaking with representatives from the government, investment bankers, discussing certain things related to the soccer.
Exactly.
This comes as Hunter Biden faces similar allegations that he used his father's position to make lucrative business deals in Ukraine and China. Kara McKinney, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this?
Now, they're telling us to pay attention to 113. So I'm going to go back to that. It's 114. So we're at 110. So I'm just going to go forward for 3 seconds and we'll see what it is that they're saying has been removed.
It was saved by the American Mirror on Twitter with the caption, "What's really going on here?"
So you have a corporate governance business, and you're here and
I'm not sure what's so special about 113 in the video, but the whole thing is interesting, and I think we've looked at this before, if I'm not mistaken. It's certainly familiar to me, so I believe that I've played it on here before. So let's go on. And again, he says they are fighting for their lives. And they are. It says that they need to keep pushing for impeachment to cover for all the crimes they have committed in the Ukraine. They are fighting for their lives, but Q assures us that they have good people in place. It will be taken care of. Now, I am a little bit adding words to what Q is saying, but that's what I believe he is saying, that they have good people in place. Don't worry. It's being looked after. I think that is a word of comfort for us. Basically, that's how I take it. Now, we're going to go on to the next drop, and it's 3759. 3759. POTUS tweets about Biden/Pelosi family corruption in Ukraine 30 minutes after Q's drop. So, now this is from today, actually. Let me see where today started. So this is actually the start of today's post right here, 3759. And my cat is meowing again. And some of you suggested that my cat might be in heat. Well, that would be quite the feat because it's a male. And he cannot be, pining after female love because he's, snip, snip. So, yeah, and he's got everything. He's got a very clean litter box. He's got food and water. He's got lots of toys. So, not sure, but don't feel bad for the cat. Most people would love to live like my cat, really. Anyway, let's go on here. So this Anon posts this, and it's a tweet from President Trump, and it says, "Wow, crazy Nancy, what's going on? This is big stuff," and it's just what we looked at a minute ago here. And then below, this Anon says Donald J. Trump retweets himself 2 hours later driving the point home. And Q then makes reference to the above and says post drop 55Q. Now let's come over here and it says earlier drop with POTUS tweet regarding Pelosi's son's business ties to Ukraine via gas company was posted at 23:26:04. POTUS retweeted his own tweet included in the earlier drop at 23:56. 5729 as yet another confirmation of close coordination with the team. We copy 5 by 5, and 5 by 5 means loud and clear. Q. All right. And we are coming down to the next, and it is drop 3760. 3760. Bill Barr, what was their agenda to keep pushing FISA-gate post-election after their case collapsed? I'd like to know that myself. Let's go to the link that Q has left us and take a look. All right. Holy shite. Barr asked the question that needed to be asked. What was their agenda after the election? Why did they keep pressing for more FISA abuse? They lie, cheat, and steal from we the people, and they don't give a shite about us. Power and control. Well, you can say that again. Now, let's take a listen here. This is 45 seconds long.
But also, a few weeks ago, I told him that he should spend just as much attention on the post-election period. And I did that because of some of the stuff that Horowitz has uncovered, which to me is inexplicable. Inexplicable. Well, what I said is their case collapsed after the election, and they never told the court, and they kept on getting renewals on these applications. There was documents falsified in order to get these renewals. There was all kinds of withholding of information from the court. And the question really is, what was the agenda after the election that kept them pressing ahead after their case collapsed? This is the President of the United States. But also,
and it's just starting over again. So let's go back and take a look at this. That is the entire drop, is just that link. But what is he trying to tell us? Well, why basically Bill Barr is bringing up a fact that no one else seems to have brought up. Why did they continue to push for FISA warrants after they knew the information was fake? It had fallen apart. The whole Carter Page thing had fallen apart. So why did they continue to push and try to obtain more and more FISA warrants? And why did they continue to push after the election? Because we know then they knew that what they had was false. They knew, but yet they pushed for more FISA warrants. And this, Doc Rock 107, again, he is on Twitter and a very good person to follow. What was Hussein's deep state's agenda after the election? Once the FISA case on Carter Page had collapsed, why did they continue to deceive the court about it? Falsified documents to do so. What was their agenda for the President of the United States? Well, we know that. It was a coup. And there's no other way to put it. And there's no nice way to put it. It was a coup. They wanted to take over. They wanted to get Trump out and take over. And any way they could do that was okay with them. And they're still trying. They just haven't forgotten that they lost in 2016, have they? None of them seem to have forgotten that. Sore losers, to put it very mildly. Okay, now this is drop 3761. 3761. And it says CNN in panic mode over POTUS tweeting QAnon accounts and fake whistleblower's name. And of course, we've got a link here. And then Q says, panic mode. People awake is their greatest fear, Q. So let's go take a look at this. Okay, now it says CNN's, hang on here. Alrighty. Okay, CNN's Brian Stelter, is calling out President Trump's return tweets this morning of QAnon accounts. He claims this is very unpresidential and is in full-blown panic mode about the president sharing the name of the alleged whistleblower. Like, as if we all don't know who the whistleblower is. Like, really, you would have had to have been living under a rock, or possibly in a rock. But anyway, I think we all know who the whistleblower is. So they need to give up the ruse, because that's all they're doing, like pretending like nobody knows who it is. Give us a break. We're not all as stupid as CNN. Although I don't know if they're stupid as much as they are just, they just follow orders. They don't have to think. You don't have to think if you're on CNN. Nope. So let's listen to this. Oh gosh, this is really low. I hope you guys can hear this. I've got it up as far as it'll go, but this is very, very low. Hopefully you can. I can't do anything about the sound of this video on here.
Yeah, and some of these aren't really the people. These are retweeted bots and fan accounts of the conspiracy group, QAnon. CNN chief media correspondent Brian Skelton joins us now. Brian.
Oh, I don't like this guy. There is something very, I don't know, there's something about this person that I have a hard time even looking at them, and I don't know what it is. And I wonder if any of you feel this way about this guy. I can't put my finger on it, but there's just something.
We're not going to show the tweets because we don't want to aid in the spread of...
We're not going to show the tweets because we don't want to aid in the spread of this conspiracy theory. Yeah, we're not going to show them. We're just going to talk about them on how unpresidential they are. Right.
That junk, but the president has been on a bit of a tear recently. Yeah, misinformation and disinformation coming from the president of the United States.
He's saying misinformation and disinformation coming from the president of the United States because he has retweeted some of posts from QAnons, or not QAnons, but Anons and those who follow Q. How dare he?
From his Twitter feed, this is not necessarily brand new. We know he's been doing this for years, but it is still shocking. Frankly, it's unprecedented to see dozens of these kinds of posts, anti-Democrat, anti-whistleblower, all of this content that would offend anybody who believes in the basic principles of our democracy. Let me give you an
You probably are not able to hear that, and I apologize, but basically they're up in arms here because he retweeted this, and, you know, I wonder, makes me kind of wonder if they're leading up to saying that he is not mentally stable. Remember we touched on that yesterday? I'm wondering at this point if that's where they're going with this by saying, oh, he's just offside. He's retweeting these conspiracy theories and he's giving all this disinformation and he's, you know, slamming the Democrats and the whistleblower and, you know, well, yeah. And it's fine for them to slam him or to slam other Republicans or whatever. That's fine. But don't let Trump actually say the truth about anything because then he's mentally ill. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's like black is white and white is black. Good is evil and evil's good. Just like the Bible said in the last days that men would call evil good and good evil. That's exactly where we're at. Exactly. So let's go back now. Let's close some of these down. And go back here. So he said panic mode. People awake is their greatest fear. They want to keep people in the dark and keep feeding them, you know, like what they feed mushrooms, right? They keep you in the dark and feed you crap. That's what CNN does. Yeah. So that's what they want. They want you asleep. They want you to, if crap is all you're getting, it probably tastes all right. But it's like once you've eaten in a French restaurant, once you've had fine dining, it's very hard to go to McDonald's. Really. once I got healthy and got all the crap out of my diet and, additives and what all, it's very hard for me to go back to that without getting violently ill, really. And it's like, that's all that people are used to, is being fed this. And they want them asleep. They want them to, yeah, we're going to feed you crap and you're going to like it because that's all you get. And that's all we get. That's all we get. I mean, unless you are viewing alternative news sources, all you get is crap in the newspaper, on the television, and that's what they want. They want you in the dark. And they want to be able to keep feeding you crap, and they want you to like it. Well, I don't like it, and I don't like being in the dark, and I don't like eating crap. So there you go. And I don't think any of you do either. That's why we are awake, and we are their greatest fear. And they don't want to even give the tweets because they know that if they do that, people will look at that and some will say, well, I'm going to check this QAnon out. What's he talking about? They don't want that. All right, let's go on to the next post, and it is drop 3762. CIA Director Gina Haspel knew about the Spygate operation in the UK and is working with John Durham. Well, I don't know what to think about Gina Haspel, but let's look at what Q is showing us here. Now, this is a old Q post, and I'm not sure of the date, actually. It's from 2018. And it says, Nicholas Rasmutin, important name to remember, former director of NCTC, think FISA, think no name, White House visitor logs, no name, Hussein, dates, White House visitor logs, no name, Brennan, Hussein, dates, White House visitor logs, no name, Brennan, Comey, Hussein, dates, White House visitor logs, no name, Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Hussein, dates. Now, I don't know who has access to the White House visitor logs. I'm not sure, but I don't think that we do to be able to check this out, because I think I looked into that when this was posted. But anyway, replaced by Defense Intelligence Liaison to British Intelligence in London, think UK, current director of the CIA, that is Gina Haspel, UK bio removed. Why would her UK bio be removed? Don't you think that's a little odd? I do. Okay, where are we here? UK bio removed. CIA station chief, London, UK. That was her job. She was the CIA station chief for London. Furthermore, Haspel is seen as a Russia expert and a close ally of Britain's MI6, having been London station chief from 2014 to 2017. The more you know. Q. Now, beneath that, Q states, well, he gives us a link, and we're going to go out to that because that is the next thing that we come to. So let's go take a look at this because we can. And it says new. The CIA, and this is by Natasha Bertrand, the CIA director herself may get drawn into the Barr Durham probe as they investigate rumors about Joseph Mifsud. As London station chief in 2016, Haspel was briefed on the Russia-linked professor's contact with Papadopoulos. That's right, I said Papadopoulos, per sources, but, and let's come down here, that is just one of two tweets. Where did we go here? And she said it sounded like an FBI matter, according to the IG report, which redacts Haspel's name. That would seem to pour cold water on the unsubstantiated theories that Mifsud was a CIA asset, as some Trump allies have alleged. Now, this goes to a Politico article, and I don't know if Q wanted us to read this in its entirety, and I don't think that I want to do that, but let's just take a look here. It says the prosecutor appointed by Attorney General Bill Barr to examine the origins of the Russia investigation is focusing much of his attention on the CIA, placing the agency's director, Gina Haspel, at the center of a politically toxic tug-of-war between the Justice Department and the intelligence community. The prosecutor, John Durham, has reportedly asked the CIA for former Director John Brennan's communications as he examines the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that concluded Russian President Vladimir Putin intervened in the election specifically to help Donald Trump. Of course, we know that's not the case. But boy, it'd be interesting to get John Brennan's communications. I would love to take a look at those, wouldn't you? Barr has been skeptical of the agency's conclusion about Putin's motivations, despite corroboration by the GOP-led Senate Intelligence Committee and an adversarial review by former CIA Director Mike Pompeo. But intelligence community veterans say that the Durham probe could force Haspel to choose between protecting her agency from Trump's wrath and bowing to Barr's wishes. They point to FBI Chief Chris Wray, who has found himself at odds with the president in recent weeks over a watchdog report about the Bureau's conduct in the Russia probe. And they say the Barr-Durham probe represents overreach by an attorney general who seems to have already made up his mind and is bent on imposing his own skeptical view of the Russia investigation on the intelligence community. Haspel, a veteran intelligence officer known for her fierce loyalty to the CIA and acute political antennae, has rarely made headlines during her 19-month tenure atop the nation's top spy agency, turning her focus inward on building morale and boosting recruitment. That strategy has kept her out of Trump's sights and largely protected the CIA's more than 20,000 employees from the kind of political attacks that have hobbled the FBI. When it comes to Durham, Haspel is likely confident there has been no serious wrongdoing and will therefore find a means to cooperate with the investigation, said John Cipher, a 28-year CIA veteran. Trump often attacks the intelligence community and said last summer that the intelligence agencies have run amok and need to be reined in, but he's never openly criticized Haspel, instead calling her highly respected and tweeting last year that there is nobody even close to run the CIA. And this is a tweet from May 7th, 2018 from Donald J. Trump. My highly respected nominee for CIA Director Gina Haspel has come under fire because she was too tough on terrorists. Think of that. In these very dangerous times, we have the most qualified person, a woman, who Democrats want out because she is too tough on terror. Win, Gina. Haspel's plight, though, may depend on how deeply Durham investigates an uncorroborated theory pushed by Trump allies that a key player in the Russia probe, a Russian-linked professor named Joseph Mifsud, was actually a Western intelligence asset sent to discredit the Trump campaign. Yep. And that the CIA under Brennan was somehow involved. Yep. Haspel was the CIA station chief in London in 2016 when the U.S. Embassy was made aware of Mifsud's contact with a Trump campaign advisor, George Papadopoulos, by Australian diplomat Alexander Downer. Haspel was briefed on Downer's outreach to the embassy, according to a person familiar with the matter, but it's unclear whether she was made aware of the FBI's plans to interview him or knew about the Bureau's use of an informant, University of Cambridge professor Stefan Halper in London. An Inspector General report released earlier this month said the embassy's deputy chief of mission at the time briefed the FBI's legal attaché and another official whose title is redacted, but is Haspel, according to another person familiar with the matter, on Downer's outreach. The attaché told the Inspector General that Haspel, upon being briefed, said the Downer information sounded like an FBI matter. One former intelligence official said it's unlikely Haspel would have been read into the FBI's subsequent operation given how closely held it was within the Bureau and the Justice Department, but Trump's allies have been asking questions about what Haspel knew about the probe since before she was sworn in as director. Barr, who has taken a hands-on approach to the Durham investigation, was reportedly in London over the summer discussing the probe with British intelligence officials. He told NBC that the purpose of his recent travel to the UK and other friendly foreign governments was to introduce Durham to the appropriate people and set up a channel through which he could work with those countries. Among those Durham interviewed while in London was Terence Dudley, according to a person with knowledge of the interview. Dudley, a defense attaché at the U.S. Embassy, met with Papadopoulos in London several times in 2016 and was also interviewed as part of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Dudley did not return a request for comment. Can't imagine why. U.S. attorney doesn't just show up to your doorstep in some of these countries and say, hey, I want to talk to your intelligence people, Barr said. The countries want to initially talk to me to figure out, what is this about? What are the ground rules? Is this going to be a criminal case? You bet it is. Former CIA officials, however, said a U.S. attorney shouldn't be showing up at a foreign government intelligence service's doorstep at all. It is unprecedented and inappropriate to do this via Justice Department prosecutors who will tend to apply the standards of a courtroom to more nuanced and often more challenging world of intelligence analysis, said John McLaughlin, who served as both deputy director and acting director of the CIA from 2000 to 2004. I don't think that they're upset with it because it's unprecedented. Well, we're in unprecedented times, aren't we? We've never had a former president try to instigate a coup against a sitting president. When has that ever happened? Or even a presidential candidate, as Trump was initially when they started this. It's unprecedented. The whole thing is unprecedented. So Cipher asked why such a review would be done over the head of the intelligence community's inspector general. Gee, I wonder why. I find this troubling, and I suspect many inside the intelligence community do as well, Cipher said, specifically pointing to the CIA's Brennan records review. The inquiry was initiated and sold in a partisan manner, and this news only highlights that concern, he said. Another issue, they need to look into all that with Brennan because he is as guilty as sin. So another issue former intelligence have flagged, it isn't clear whether Durham has consulted with the intelligence community inspector general Michael Atkinson as part of his review, which reportedly evolved into a criminal probe in October. Normally, political intelligence community misconduct is reviewed by an agency's internal watchdog, who would then recommend criminal charges if warranted to a U.S. attorney with jurisdiction, noted Greg Brower, a former FBI director. It appears that the cart has been put before the horse. Here, Durham appears to be acting as a sort of super IG and prosecutor in one. So, I don't know if, we're almost done here. And I do think that this is very important. It appears that the cart has been put before the horse, said Brower. Here, Durham appears to be acting. Okay, we've already read that. In May, Trump gave Barr unprecedented authority to review the intelligence community's surveillance activities during the 2016 election, issuing a sweeping declassification order that granted Barr extensive powers over the nation's secrets. I think the CIA has operated as a force unto itself for far too long. The Attorney General has since emerged as a chief protector and defender of the president, going so far as to disagree publicly with a finding by DOJ's Inspector General that the FBI's Russia probe was properly predicated. It wasn't. And he's now leaning on Durham's investigation to produce a more fulsome picture of the intelligence community's actions in 2016, he told Fox last week. He is looking at all of the conduct both before and after the election, Barr said of Durham. I certainly will rely on John. I think those two, Barr and Durham, are doing a bang-up super job. But that's just me. All right, now let's go back here. So yeah, it says Haspel made director for a specific reason. Brennan tapped directly for support. Brennan classified section division spy T. If CIA was running Black Op spy T in UK, would Haspel, station chief, be informed and instructed? Yes. MI6, meetings with Durham. The only way to restore faith is through transparency and accountability. Q. Now, I'm going to go up and read this because it's well done by D. Oppresso Lieber. And it says Gina Haspel, CIA director, was tapped to head up the CIA for a reason. No way Donald Trump would put in a shill in that position after Pompeo unless he was using Scaramucci model and using her to track other deep state connections. I think that if she was a shill, either Donald Trump flipped her and is using her to cause confusion in the deep state CIA connected world, think Brennan, or Haspel has been a white hat all along and actually reported what Strzok, Comey, Brennan, and Page were doing in Europe when Crossfire Hurricane was underway. I tend to think Haspel has been a patriot all along and was actually letting us know she's a white hat when she wore this dress during POTUS State of the Union in early 2019. Remember her dress that she wore with little white hats all over it? And everyone was speculating that that was for a reason. And I would tend to think that it was because that's an odd choice of a dress. I wouldn't think there's too many out there, but who knows? Hard to know at this point. I'm reserving judgment on Haspel. I do think there are good patriots in the CIA, and POTUS used many of them to run counter-intel ops against Brennan. Art of war, confuse the enemy. And I happen to agree with that. Now, I am not confident that she is a white hat, and I'm not confident that she is not. I don't know. I think that there is evidence both ways, so I don't know. But time will tell. Because Trump could have put her in to be able to track her deep state connections. I don't know. Time will tell. But she most definitely is cooperating at this point. Okay, now we're coming down to the next, and it is 3762, and it's the same post, but Q adds on to it. So we've got this one that we've just looked at, and beneath it, Q has included this, and it is, let me just make this bigger, although it's still blurry, but I'm fresh out of blurry be gone. And this is Gina C. Haspel, Central Intelligence Agency career timeline. And it shows that she was from 2014 to 2017. She was Chief of Station, Europe Division, 2012 to 2014. Deputy Director of the National Clandestine Service. And it goes on, but the one we are concerned about is this, which is odd because she was the station chief for in the UK. So I'm not sure why it's saying Europe or Europe Division. Maybe that's the point. I don't know. But let's come down here, and it says geolocation 2015 to 2017. Well, Haspel was in London as station chief during that time frame. And let's go back up here, 2015 to 2017. 2015. Yeah, Chief of Station, Classified London, Chief of Station, Europe Division, chief of, so yeah, she was definitely in London. We know that for a fact. So let's move on. And this is drop 3764. 3764, again, it's from today. And it says DNC servers, CrowdStrike. Did Russia break into DNC servers? Not a chance. Why did the FBI accept indirect evidence regarding the DNC servers? Hack break-in by CrowdStrike in Ukraine. Was it hacked? Why did FBI directly investigate DNC servers in hand? Download speed, internal data, download versus remote. Now, we've looked at this before, but let's look at this again. Let me just see here. We're going to go to this first link. Assange to Hannity, source for WikiLeaks, was not Russian government. Now, we know that. We know it was Seth Rich. Everybody knows that. And it had to have been physically, it had to be somebody who was physically there at the server. It could not have been done remotely. That's a given. That has been proven. So, yeah. Anyway, in an exclusive interview with Fox News Channel, Sean Hannity, the founder of WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, said Russia was not the source for the DNC and John Podesta hacks. Hannity, can you say to the American people unequivocally that you did not get this information about the DNC, John Podesta's emails? Can you tell the American people 1,000% that you did not get it from Russia or anybody associated with Russia? Julian Assange, yes, we can say, we have said repeatedly that over the last 2 months that our source is not the Russian government and it is not a state party. It was one person that's no longer with us. Hannity's full interview with Assange will air. Okay, well, we don't care about that. Assange, our publications had wide uptake by the American people. They're all true, but that's not the allegation that's being presented by the Obama White House. So why such a drastic response? Well, the reason is obvious. They're trying to delegitimize the Trump administration as it goes into the White House. They are trying to say that President-elect Trump is not a legitimate president. Assange, our source is not a state party, so the answer for our interaction is no. But if we look at our most recent statement from the U.S. government, which is on the 29th of December, okay, we had 5 different branches of government, Treasury, DHS, FBI, White House, presenting their accusations to underpin Obama's throwing out 29 Russian diplomats. What was missing from all of those statements? The word WikiLeaks. It's very strange. So let's go back here and let's read through this. Go back up to here. And the reason why they know that it was somebody that was physically present at the server is because the download speed for doing a remote transfer was so slow and there was such a massive amount of data that it would not have been possible because everyone would have known. You can't hack into something and have it open that long to transfer that amount of data. It would have shown up. So yeah. One, how does one provide content to WikiLeaks? Well, it was through a Dropbox. I know that. And I think actually it was called Dropbox. So how does one, okay, comp to comp, person to person. So personal communications secured prior to release, the sources, feeder 1, recipient 1. Yeah, and so he's saying that the way to transfer it to WikiLeaks is either from computer to computer or person to person. And personal comms secured prior to release, the sources, there was a feeder, which we know who that was, and the recipient, which would have been Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. Interning for the DNC can be deadly. Well, it certainly was for him, wasn't it? Does CrowdStrike possess government capability to trace break-in routes? No. Does CrowdStrike possess government capability regarding foreign intercepts? No. Possible to layer, insert code, CrowdStrike to designate intruder, intended target? NSA data bridge, DNC CrowdStrike, bulk data collection, matters of national security, highest levels, FISA is only the beginning. The hole is deep. So I don't know. I am not a computer expert. I know what I need to do in computers, and I know how to get it done, and I do know how to code websites and all that, but do I understand exactly what they're talking about here? No, I don't. But I do understand exactly what happened, and it most certainly was not the Russians or anybody else. It was a member of the DNC. It was an intern who, like I said, is no longer with us. So, just have to make sure that I didn't miss anything here. And let's continue, because we can. And it says data was not, well, it says, I wrote this. Anything in red is me. Data was not hacked, but rather leaked. It was done by someone with access to, physical access to, the server. FBI knew this, but went with CrowdStrike's explanation to cover for their own criminality. So let's move on here. And we're at drop 3765. 3765. And the title is To Be Determined. And again, it's from today. So we've got this. Now, we have all seen this, and I know this is dark, and it's probably hard for you guys to see. I'll try to make it a little bit bigger here. This was something that Comey, you know, corn, ready for to be cut. Yeah, Comey posted this, and it's him looking up at what I would assume are redwood trees. And it says, "Oh Lordy," and then there's a big, you know, MOAB, about to hit him, that says treason. Yes. And so Q has posted this, and I can't quite read what this is. Oh, yes, yes. Remember when Q back in, I think it was August, where he said people were upset because all this leaking that he did, and he wasn't held accountable. And remember, Q said there's bigger slam dunk charges coming. Well, what are those charges? There it is, treason. That's what he is and will be charged with. So beneath that, Q says future will prove past. And let's make this bigger because you need to see this. This is a meme. I love it, by the way, of McCabe and Comey. They've each got books, so they've got lots of time to read. That's for sure. They're in prison, and they have you know, a fresh lot of depends there. Now, personally, if I had bladder control issues, I don't think I would want an underwear that it's called Depends. I would want something called maybe For Sure's. But anyway, these are, and it's even men's Depends. So there you go. They're going to be in prison, and they're going to have lots of time to read and hopefully reflect. I doubt they'll be cellmates, though. But that would be interesting. So, patriots were understandably upset when Comey was not charged with leaking info. However, Q said bigger slam dunk charges are coming. And what are those charges? Treason. This meme seems to suggest they will be both imprisoned with plenty of time to read and a fresh supply of Depends. So, that's good. I'm okay with that. That's where they deserve to be. All right. You do the crime, you do the time. And we are on, I believe, the last one for today, unless Q has posted since I started. It's 3766. The DNC data breach download speed points to an internal leak, not an external hack. Yes. And we've known that for quite a long time, but it says a new report raises big questions about last year's DNC hack. Former NSA expert says it wasn't a hack at all, but a leak, an inside job by someone with access to the DNC's system. Wonder who that could be. I don't know. Maybe a certain intern that's no longer with us. At least they tell us he's no longer with us. Some people have suggested that he may still be alive. I don't know. Okay, so Orenzicators' first decisive finding made public in the paper dated July 9th concerning the volume of the supposedly hacked material and what is called the transfer rate, the time a remote hack would require. The metadata established several facts in this regard with granular precision. On the evening of July 5th, 2016, 1,976 megabytes of data were downloaded from the DNC server. The operation took 87 seconds. This yields a transfer rate of 22.7 megabytes per second. These statistics are matters of record and essential to disproving the hack theory. No internet service provider, such as a hacker, would have had to use in mid-2016. I'm sorry, I misread that, I think. No internet service provider, such as a hacker, would have had to use in mid-2016 was capable of downloading data at this speed. Compounding this contradiction, Guccifer claimed to have run his hack from Romania, which, for numerous reasons, technically called delivery overheads, would slow down the speed of a hack even further from maximum achievable speeds. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. It couldn't have happened. So, and let's look at this. It is the last link that Q leaves us in this particular post. A new report raises big questions about last year's DNC hack. And former NSA expert says it wasn't a hack at all, but a leak, an inside job by someone with access to the DNC's system. Now, I'm not going to go through and read this because we already know it is it comes down to the transfer rate. It could not have been an outside hack. It was somebody standing at the actual server and downloading it onto a flash drive. That's what it was. All right. Now, let's go back, because we can, and I'm going to read this by De Oppresso Liber. His name was Seth Rich, SR, in prior QAnon posts. Rich provided the DNC Podesta HRC emails to WikiLeaks Assange, Q making point that CrowdStrike servers would have detected foreign intruder, like Russia, into DNC servers and would have been able to alert DNC and stop the hack. Especially one that would have taken a long time, as that would have if it wasn't being directly downloaded. Assange told Hannity Russia didn't provide this info. A person did. SR is what I'm going to call him because that is a word that they are sensitive to on YouTube, worked for DNC and was murdered 187 in QAnon lingo by MS-13. NSA has it all. NSA downloaded all the evidence already from DNC server, but to make admissible in court has to come through Assange, so it can be authenticated and entered into evidence. Rabbit hole is deep. This matter is of great national security. All right, now, oh my gosh, it makes my heart skip a beat when I see my cat jump on top of my china cabinet because there's breakable things up there. But I can't do anything about it now, and it's only things, so let me continue. Okay, now this is the last one. It is drop 3767. 3767 meme, the dude on Biden's blackmailing in the Ukraine, and that cat is going to be the death of me. No, it's not. All right, let me get this straight. Biden blackmailed Ukraine with $1 billion in tax dollars to drop an investigation into his son, and Democrats want to impeach President Trump simply for asking if it was true? Yeah, that's right. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Really, if we weren't living this, I would have a very hard time to believe it. I would. If someone had told me even 3 years ago that we'd be here, I couldn't have seen it. Really. It's just ludicrous. Now, let's go, because Q has left a link here and says easy to understand. Q, let's go take a look. All right. His corrupt father, Joe Biden, should be under criminal investigation too. Joe Biden held back $1 billion until the Ukraine fired the prosecutor investigating his son's company, then lied about it. Yeah. Now, we have seen this clip. I'm not going to play it. We've seen it many, many times before. But, oh, look at this. Says, breaking, Hunter Biden is under criminal investigations for money laundering. He made $156 million. The Democrats knew. Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump found out. They impeached the president to disrupt the investigation. Joe Biden committed public corruption. Oh, yes, absolutely he did. So there you go. And that, I believe, is all we have for tonight. Now, I've been going over an hour, so I do have other news to get to, but it's late. It's after midnight, and tomorrow is another day. I'm going to have much more time to post tomorrow, and I'll try to do it earlier. Honestly, I really will try. So that way, if anything comes up later in the evening, I've already posted. So there you go. Now, that is it for tonight. So I'm glad you joined me, and I hope you'll join me again. So thank you so much. You stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and keep seeking truth because, deception, bites.